So it probably showed in yesterday's video, I'm kind of sick as I'm filming this, but that's not going to keep me from showing you a new 3D printed puzzle, and I think it's the first time that I've ever made anything this strange or crazy. That's up to you to decide. I'd like to present the helicopter 1x2x3. Okay, so first of all, what's very special about this puzzle is that it's my first puzzle with gears. As you can see, these gears have been printed in metal. This is actually stainless steel. So I think that this is the first twisty puzzle to ever have metal gears. Now let me show you this. This is a 1x2x3 centerpiece. So the gears basically go in there. These are the planetary gears. This is the outer ring. And the solar gear in the middle is going to be another part, which is printed in plastic this time. So basically, this piece here goes in the middle of all those gears right there. So let me see if I can get this straight and assemble it. Alright, so this goes right here, and it's inside. So basically, this is going to turn like that. Now, before I go any further, I want to show you something kind of fun. It's a neat trick I found to assemble this and break it in. Because I need to break this in. It doesn't spin very well, and I need to have the least amount of efforts between the teeth. It needs to be extremely smooth. So basically, I'm going to put this over here, so I can hold the gears down while I make the spin, right? So that the gears don't come out. And I'm going to show you a very neat trick to basically break in some gears. So I'm going to be using a Dremel. So if I put this in here and tighten it a bit, alright, like that, a bit more, I'm going to be able to make the gears spin really fast, and I'm going to be able to break in the gear system. So let's go. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is broken in correctly. I've got some paint dust and plastic dust all over the place, so I'm just going to clean that up a bit. And I've got some dust on the inside as well, so I'm going to take all of this out. I've actually melted a bit of the plastic, it seems, on the inside. It doesn't matter, I'm just going to remove that with an X-Acto knife. Alright, so let's see. So this is going to be spinning here. I am going to need to remove a bit more of that matter right here. See, that's what happens when you're not nice with your gears. They just melt and then they don't work anymore. So just be nice with your gears. Anyways, as you can see, there are two knobs on the sides of this piece. They need to be oriented in that direction when the helicopter 1x2x3 is in this direction. So basically assemble it like that. Alright, so just like before, try to aim for the gears and right in the middle. And it spins really well. Much better than before. So as you can see, it's a planetary gear. Like that. So that's how it's going to work. And I think those types of gears are really cool, so I wanted to implement that on a puzzle. And so this is the idea I came up with. Now let's see, I'm going to assemble the rest of the helicopter. So there's the first side piece to the 1x2x3 center, and second right here. So these are basically 1x2x3 corner pieces, if you can call them that way. Here's another centerpiece. Now this piece had 4 knobs like that went inside the gears, but I applied a lot of force and I didn't tolerance them well. I already fixed that on the CAD model. Anyhow, I broke these 3 right here, but this one sticks out a little bit, and I have enough sticking out to go inside a gear, so it still works, which is really nice, because if it didn't work, I'd have to wait 3 more weeks for my brother's birthday, and that is not an option. So I'm glad it still manages to work. So anyways, wrong direction. This is how I'm gonna put it in. So notice how I'm putting this knob inside the gear and assembling it that way. Now you're gonna hear a click. That is the second knob going inside the second gear. Now, I am going to assemble something I've never put on a twisty puzzle, and that's never really been used before on a puzzle, a ball bearing. This is going to be for the rotor of the helicopter part. So I'm going to put it right here. Alright, now, I am going to need to assemble the rotor. The first thing you need to do is basically fit the rotor inside the stock right there. So I actually fitted the rotor in the wrong direction. It wasn't oriented like that, it was oriented like that. So I have to take it out and reinsert it in the right direction, which is this one right here. And here it is. So I'm going to do that again. That was my bad. Alright, and click. So, I made a slight mistake. I broke a piece when assembling it, so I'm going to use a bit of super glue just to make sure that it works and that it's not going to break after a minute of use. So, here we go. I don't usually put super glue on ball bearings because it never works out well, but hopefully this one's going to work. Alright, so now I'm going to put this rotor inside, and actually I'm going to put some more super glue on the side of that rotor piece right there. Sorry, I'm kind of concentrated, so I'm maybe speaking a bit too much for nothing. Alright, so let's hope this works. Whoa, let's hope this doesn't work. Whew, that was close. I forgot something, a piece that is vital, so that's a good thing that I forgot that. So, well, it's a good thing that I remembered before it was too late. Phew, that was close. As you can see, I'm not very good with things I'm not very familiar with, and I am definitely not familiar with that type of design. Alright, so what I forgot was, let's see, I forgot to put one piece in that I should have put, and that is the top of the ball bearing. So basically, this ball bearing goes right here, and the rotor will go in that direction, except I need to put this in, and that way the ball bearing is going to be fixed in position. This is very important, otherwise the puzzle is basically going to fall apart, because this is what I'm using to support the whole structure. So basically I need to put this piece on top of the ball bearing, and it is absolutely vital. So I'm actually going to use another screwdriver. Alright, and once this is assembled, I am going to assemble the rotor. And this time I'm actually going to properly do it and not fail at every second of the video. Alright, trying to squeeze this in tightly so that the whole puzzle works well. And try to squeeze it in with that screwdriver so that it doesn't damage the paint around it. Alright, the paint is slightly damaged, but I will fix that with black paint because I'm going to decorate the helicopter later on. So yeah, for now this is only the structural part of the design. I'm going to decorate it, but off camera, because I have decorations to make for my brother. And then we'll see. Alright, so this is actually quite difficult. Those screws are really tight. Alright. As you can see, it's already working. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. or at least focus on it. This is not easy to handle. This camera is having difficulty with the zoom. Anyways, as you can see, when I turn this, the inside turns 3.5 times as fast as the outside. So back onto the last screw, and then I will move on to the rest, which is, by the way, really cool. Whoops. Alright, so and before I forget, I'm gonna need to assemble the last part of the helicopter onto that center before I screw in the last screw, the one that's gonna basically keep the whole puzzle together. Alright, so what I just did is basically make sure the ball bearing, focus again. I made sure the ball bearing doesn't move, so right now it can spin, but it's really fixed in position. So, let's see, the rotor is gonna go in that direction, like that. So I'm going to need to assemble it like this. So I'm going to put those gears in correctly. Alright, just like that. Align them properly. Then I'm going to assemble the rest of the helicopter. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of a problem here. Whoa. The rotor tried to glue itself onto there. The super glue isn't dry yet, so the one that I basically removed in a hurry, not to, to avoid making the whole puzzle a mess. So this part goes on this side. This is basically the back rotor of the helicopter, and I think it looks really cool. I didn't design this. The helicopter part was designed by someone else. I just took an open source file. Because let's be honest, I'm not that good at design and stuff, or at least aesthetic stuff. Alright, anyways, back on topic, I need to assemble well, this is complicated. This is actually a very hard puzzle to assemble. I'm not used to that type of mechanism right there. Those gears are actually trying to move right there, so I'm trying to avoid them moving, and it's actually much harder than I thought it would be, so that's a bit of a challenge. Hopefully it's going to be all good in a few seconds. Alright, so here we are with a helicopter, and I just need a rotor. But first I'm gonna put the last screw in, the screw that's gonna tighten this puzzle together and make the whole thing actually be a twisty puzzle in the first place. So let's see. So I'm tightening that whole thing. Oh, here it is. Alright, perfect. So let's see. I'm gonna untighten that a little bit. It's a bit too tight. So if I turn this, you can see on the inside that the rotor is, well, this piece here is turning. And it's actually turning 3 times as fast as the outside. So probably gonna untighten it a little bit because it's still very tight. Alright, now it spins pretty well. And on the other sides, well, it spins pretty well too. So that's nice. This is going to be the whole helicopter part right there. Okay, it's a bit tight, but I'll fix it using lube later on. And as you can see, the mechanism does not... actually, yes, I can disassemble it like that, so technically I didn't design it well. Because, well, I didn't even anticipate that. I thought it was okay, but it's not. So, well, I guess it makes disassembly easier. Anyways, let's go on to the interesting part, the gluing of the rotor. Alright, let's see. Which means basically, when I'm going to spin the rotor around, the whole puzzle is going to turn, well, if I spin the puzzle, the rotor is going to turn along that with the, well, it's going to actually turn faster than the top layer of the 1x2x3. So it turns opposite to the bottom layer, basically. So this is actually the first time, I think this is the first time, an actual helicopter cube has been made. And if you notice, if I spin the rotor, it basically spins the top layer as well. I can spin it like that. I'm gonna de-zoom later on, that way you have a fully focused image. I just need to put the last screw in, which is basically the screw that fastens the rotor to the outside, basically the aesthetic part of the rotor, to the inside of the rotor, which is the part where I have the epicyclic gearing. Alright. Alright, so here we are. Let me zoom out. Let me just move everything I used around a bit so that you don't have much interference with everything that's on the side of the screen, which is basically a mess. And here is the assembled product, which is basically a helicopter 1x2x3. So if you turn it like that, it spins like a 1x2x3, so on the sides. So these are the edge turns on the 1x2x3. So there's the slice turn and the edge turns. Well, they're not really edges, but they're 1x2 faces. And the other move is the slice turn, which is this one. And that's what spins the top part of the helicopter. This is so cool. Anyways, this is the first time I actually designed a true helicopter cube. I think this is the first time anyone designs a true helicopter cube. And as you can see, if I turn the bottom layer, it spins in the opposite direction, as I said. That's because this is the sun gear. This is actually fixed to the planetary gears. The planetary gears. And this is the outer ring gear, which means when you spin that, this spins really fast. In this case, 3.5 times faster. So basically, when I do a full turn, you get 3.5 turns of the rotor. Now I'm going to show you this fully assembled and decorated. So I finished the assembly, and this is what it looks like. I don't know if you've noticed, but the rotor is actually perpendicular to the mainframe. That's a modification I just made. I just turned it, disassembled it, turned it 90 degrees, and reassembled it. So that's just because I think it looks cooler like this. So this is what the paint job looks like. Now the reason why it's written Daher at the back of the helicopter is because this is where my brother works. He actually works for a company called Daher, D-A-H-E-R, but since this is a helicopter, I put Daher like this. And so he works in logistics on the Airbus helicopter site in France, in Marignane, which is why I made this for his birthday. So let's see how it turns. So basically, just like a 1x2x3, except this is this is the 2 layer, this is the 3 layer, and this is the 1 layer. So basically, you can turn these corners here, which is basically turning the cockpit like that, and you can turn the back rotor as well, like this. And let's see. Let's do a half turn here, half turn there. And then you can turn it like this. Getting a tad of a lock up. Here, you can turn it like this. So this is basically what a checkerboard pattern would look like on this puzzle. You can also turn the puzzle by turning the rotor by hand, like that. And I think that's pretty cool. So let's see. Let me undo this pattern right there. And yeah, although I don't really like turning the rotor at first, because like here it's blocking because of those pieces, because there's friction in there, so I prefer turning it separately. Also, something you can do, you can actually hold it here and turn the bottom layer in order to make the rotor spin. So yeah, basically that's I think that's the first time anyone's ever made a true helicopter cube before. This is probably the first time. So yeah, this is just a simple shape mod, if you consider it having gears being a shape mod. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Let's see. Let me do something cool for the end. Yeah. This is really awesome. I'm glad it worked out. Like when I received the parts, I couldn't even assemble it. I had to rework the sort of planetary gearing system. You know where I said I broke 3 rods out of 4, and I was kind of afraid I couldn't finish it basically for my brother's birthday. So I'm pretty thrilled that it's working. So yeah, the first ever true helicopter cube. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free to subscribe, like my social networks and everything, and hopefully this time I'll come back next week with some more 3D printed puzzles. I'm seriously considering just assembling them white and putting black stickers on. Anyways, see you next time.